Hey Bill, this is Jessie Hobson from CineDump.com. We let the doers know how they're doing. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, Jesse. Good to talk to you.
Excellent, man. I just want to jump right into Three from Hell, man. I talked to Richard the other day, and he was telling me that Rob actually contacted him via text about the job. I was curious if it was the same for you.
No, I actually, Rob, about a year before we went into production, Rob invited Sid Haig and me to lunch. I should say Rob and Sherry. And the four of us had nice vegan lunch on La Cienega Boulevard here in Los Angeles. And that's when Rob let us know that he was thinking of getting the band back together.
And what was your response? You know, what did you think about, like, getting the band back together?
I think it was two words. I said, "Fuck yeah."
How do you? I love that. How do you, like? I know it's difficult, kind of, playing these types of roles, or it can be difficult. How do you, as a performer, as an actor, how do you get back in that headspace? Is there, a certain thing that you do to make that happen?
Well, not really. I mean, once you have, once you've gotten to that place, it stays familiar. I don't want to turn it into something prosaic like riding a bicycle, but, I've played Otis now 3 times, but certainly had twice before, Three from Hell. And also, I go to a bunch of horror conventions every year, and, so I'm always saying stuff like, "Run, rabbit!" And, boy, the next words out of your mouth better be some brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone. And stuff like that, the fans love and want to hear. And so Otis kind of, stays alive and pretty close to the surface. I might add, so does Chop Top, for that matter, from Chainsaw 2. But,
yes, sir.
So he was in there, and when Rob said, start growing the beard, as soon as the beard grew, I think Otis came more and more into focus, and of course, Rob wrote a great script, and so that certainly helped to, my, imagination, just to kind of see where Otis is now after, 14 years in prison, and basically just, where he's gotten to in his evolution. It was, the pressure was kind of, I wanted to do justice certainly to Devil's Rejects Otis, but also, also do, create a new wrinkle of Otis, a new kind of Otis, that would be the character 14 years later, and picking him up currently. And that was that was a bit of a challenge. I mean, I was trying to, I was kind of spinning with that one a little bit. But then I was having trouble one day. It was like the first or second day on the set, and I was tripping over some lines. And I took a time out. I sat down, and this voice said, "Get out of the way, Bill. I got this." And it was Otis just saying, let's get the Hollywood actor, insecurities out of the way here. And, let me do it. And, I did. Part of acting is just getting out of the fucking way. And so, I did, and, Otis took over, and, the rest of the shoot was a cakewalk.
Yeah, I thought definitely Otis was the highlight. Some of the lines that, you had, were some of the highlights, not only for the film, but the trailer was excellently cut as well. Keeping that in mind, as far as, like, getting under the character, and like how it was portrayed, the evolution of Otis. I thought with this film, it seemed like there was a little bit more improv. From a viewer's perspective, there was a little bit more conversation between you and Richard's character. Was that intentional, or like, what do you think about that?
I think that's actually, spot on. There were 2 scenes that I think you're referring to, or at least that I can think of. One was when Richard and I are in the motel room waiting for Baby to do her thing.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And I suggested that we, I think the suggestion was we play cards, and I said, let's play Go Fish. So that was, my contribution. And then Richard started talking about his ambitions, and of course to do adult films.
Yes.
And then he just started going off on Mr. Salami, and it was so funny. We were all laughing in front of and behind the cameras. And he just started, and I, of course, jumped right in because it was so funny and engaging, and I love that kind of thing too. So we just made up a bunch of really crazy stuff. I'm sure Rob took the best of it in editing. So that was actually the first taste, and then the second was when Bill Oberst Jr. and my wife, Lucinda Jenny, come upon good old Foxy in the forest. They play the bounty hunters, and then he starts going off on, someone's titties, and oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah,
I was standing right off camera and just really enjoying it. I thought it was so funny. Oh my God, because he does it in such a weird kind of oily way that it just seems, it's calm and persuasive and so completely weird and wrong. And it was wonderful. It's wonderful to watch him do that.
Yeah, it's definitely sleazy, but at the same time, it seems extremely real, and I think that's what I love. So I don't know what that says about Richard, but I love some of the exchanges between the two of you guys. I thought the chemistry was fantastic. It was just something that I wasn't necessarily expecting going into this film, and I wanted to applaud you for that, because it added a sense of realism to the film, and it was just great all around, man.
Well, thanks. I had never met Richard, and Richard came to the family, if you will, pretty late. I mean, I think it was really just a couple days before we started shooting, and that was so much fun that. Because I had not met him. Of course, I'd seen him in 31 playing Doomhead, and such a great job in that. But that was, a different character, certainly, than when he plays in 3 from Hell. So I didn't really know what to expect. Certainly, if Rob was down with him, and Sherry, and Jeff Daniel Phillips, and Pancho Moeller, and all of the people that had worked with him before. Said he was very cool. So I was already, I was expecting, somebody cool, because Rob is so good at casting. And when he showed up, I mean, we became pals in about, I think, 5 minutes, just, talking and as not as characters, but as people. And, it just, made it very easy. And he just really seemed to be part of the family from the get-go.
Excellent. So I think we're getting close to time here. So just to wrap up, for the people that have seen the first 2 films, from your perspective, to the fans, what would you say is different this time around? Why, other than getting the band back together, why should they be excited?
I think because it really extends the story. One of the things I know that Rob doesn't really like about horror sequels is a lot of times in horror movies, if you have a successful origin story, a lot of times, part 2, part 3, it really just seems like you're reworking the same story. You're adding a few new wrinkles, maybe a character or two, but it's basically the same thing. Because you're playing it safe, because you want at least 50 or 60% of the box office that your surprise hit got you in the first place. With Rob, I don't even know if he wanted to do a second House of a Thousand Corpses, but he got the budget and the creative freedom to do The Devil's Rejects, which really is not only it's so different from House of a Thousand Corpses, it's like a different genre.
Yeah,
it's like we went from old dark house horror movie to violent crime road picture. and all of us look different, and there's just a whole different vibe about it, which was really an amazing way, way for him to do a sequel. And I think it's really cool that he keeps trying to do new stuff, and with Three from Hell, I think he's really achieved it. I think in this case especially, I think Baby, Sherry Moon Zombie, really kicked some butt in this movie. And I think it's really great that that Rob, wrote her the part he did and gave her the situations to really shine. So that's really cool. It's really cool to see what Richard Brake brings to the picnic. And, it's really cool to see that, that Otis still has, a crazy beard and, is still doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you. This is, to me, it's like Baby's baby, ultimately. While you and Richard are both fantastic and, bring some interesting stuff to the table, I think Sherry actually absolutely knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it was, and I think it's really great that Rob gave her that workload and I had the confidence in her that we all like working with her and we're there, absolutely to support when we were all on screen together. And I thought she just did a great job. I thought it was really, really cool because a lot of times, she, and it's almost like she's grown from, a laughing girl into, a kick-ass woman. And I think that's if there is a, secret theme, although not so secret, I think that's really one of the strong themes of Three from Hell.
Yes, sir.
All right, my pleasure, and thanks for writing about us.
Oh, of course, man. Thank you. See you soon. Take care. Bye.